have more. Hello, there's more shovels as well.
Sean, tell me help with the push kiss. I don't know what I already have. What's with the push kiss? Finish the push kiss. That's the most important thing. Push kiss. Everybody's thinking straight. Exactly. Push.
Slowly, slowly, let's go. Push it up. Good?
Program is starting 11:30. By hook or by crook? You got it?
Yeah.
So, Hashem, rather by crook.
Okay, tough.
Hey.
Na zweiten Mal, wieviel Mal zu wird verleihen, wie es war mit der sicheren Sache, als mit dem 2 Jahren, oder demut ist vorüber Chai. Sie denken, die Geräte kamen Millionen, aber demut ist der, der dort zusammen mit ihm, das bleiben sie ja zusammen. Und es lässt sich gehen. Steht noch der Ruf, die mich verändert im Grab, die Karche, legt mich dort allein, alle meine Steine.
2, 1, 2, 2. Got it? Got the shot.
Genau in Jahre, was jede Sonne geworden, dann war der Hoppler mit Taylor und Tom gewesen. Und ich gehe zu Brias Moreno, da gehen die Welt, und den Anhübs, und dann werden die Ziel. In de Nederlandse Hoefstraat komen we eenmaal een goede fietser naar hebben. De winter zich in de Schakadosje vonden deze Amerika's. Waardoor ze maar lijst even aan de grond van jeder boeien naar hier. Was ze dan met zijn zeer boeien gedacht naar wilde oder een boeien van een ondernemer. Das ist die Quadraruchli, die dafür haben wir als Sohn, was sie da tun mit kindischer Kadoshi, mit Anweisen, die Kultur.
Rabbi, I don't know what to tell you, except that I promised you that I'm going to say your words in my mouth. All I can tell you, say it. Next time I get together to promise, I'm
Can you just put it down just for a shot? No, just your hand. You need to do it quick. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, go. Put it down.
30 years,
Okay, do it one more
Sundays,
time. Put it down.
official
Pick it up.
holidays,
1,
all
2, 3,
these
go.
things here was dedicated to the school. Why we do it? Because it was amazing. Nothing else.
Miss a Sunday. For 30 years, there's no cell phones. They have to meet in a house. There's no Zoom. One-on-one, hours and hours, every Sunday or any public holiday. They met.
The Rebbe was running the school from A to Z. Everything was going through protocol, notifications to the Rebbe. The Rebbe did not interfere, but he knew exactly what was on. To the point of, one of Hanukkah had a cubicle, a table with 3 chairs. We would walk here into the place, we sit down, everything quiet, The telephone has buttons on it, the railway push a button. We knew that the Rebbe was there. So, this was, he never said that.
Was the only Meister in the world that ever writes about it. He's the Nasi. He's the Nasi of the school.
Beryl.
It was personally.
The one for the Rebbe.
ספר לי קצת. אולי יש לי לטלפון? אולי מהטלפון? ומה שאתם רוצים, את כל האירוע אני הולך עם בייס. אליי ביוטיוב, אז רוב הרוב אני יכול לעשות כאילו. Bais nag-speak na teklano sa kapos. buffer, whatever. ¿Sabe ver? ¿Sabe ver? Hágame. Bueno.
את זה ואת זה, בעדינות אבל, אתה פותח.
We ask everyone to please find their seats as the program is about to begin.
Bruchim Habayim to this historic event. And we begin by saying, Ma Noira Hayoim Hazeh. How awesome is this day that we assemble here. Ma Kodosh HaMakoim Hazeh. How holy is this place. Uman Nizrov HaMaimed Hazeh. How special and how historic is this event as we gather on this auspicious, awesome day, Yom HaGadol VaHaKadosh Gimel Tammuz. And when I was asked to speak at this event, I looked through the Rebbe's letters and I was astonished to find a letter that the Rebbe wrote 50 years ago to Kfar Chabad, when they too were planning a groundbreaking event in Kfar Chabad. And they chose Yud Shvat. They chose the Yom HaIluleh of the Friedrich Rebbe as the day for the groundbreaking in Kfar Chabad. And the Rebbe wrote to them 50 years ago the following words: Tehei Hanochas Even Hapina L'Mazel Tov. V'harei, the Rebbe says, Harei hi be'eis Rotzoin. You chose a most auspicious day. The Yom HaIluleh the Nesi Doireinu. And the Rebbe says, V'gufa Basar Reisha Ozit. What better day is there to choose, says the Rebbe, for Hanochas Even Hapitna, for a groundbreaking event, than on the Yom HaGadol VaHaKadosh Yom HaIluleh. We gather today at a day that's truly historic, and we're engaged in something that's truly historic, and we begin by asking two Talmidos of Bais Rivkah to begin by leading us in reciting the Rebbe and Rebbitzins Kapitel Kuf Chof and Kuf Chof Aleph. Kapitel Kuf Chof will be recited by Chava Freundlich, and Kuf Chof Aleph by Chana Lustig and Chana Katz. You have Tilim on the back of your programs.
Shir Hamois El Adonai Batzar Li Krasi V'Ayini Adonai Hatzila Nafshi Mishpach Shechem Hashem Ma Yitim Lachal Ma Yisraf Hashem Ramya Yitzei Kvar Shalem V'Kol Yisrael Ayal V'Yikartim V'Shashchati Im Alei Chidem Rabba Shechem V'Nafshi Salim Shalom Ani Shalom Yichid V'Rachim Shir Hamois Sasa
Thank Chava Freundlich, Chana Lustig, and Chana Katz. This past week, Klal Yisrael commemorated 80 years since the Rebbe and Rebbitzin arrived on these shores on the auspicious day of Chof Chasidim. During that time, during that period, when G'dolei Yisrael, when leaders and Manhigei Yisrael, leaders of various communities, came to America and were faced with the challenges that they didn't imagine. How can we transport the chinuch, the varmkeit, the warmth, the special, intimate Jewish community that existed in the Alter Shtetl? Can we transport it here on these shores of the United States? And the leaders, many leaders among Klal Yisrael said, those who came around the same time as the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe, ha'anashim asher olu imoy, they said, loy nucha lalois. We can never recapture and reimagine those days. America is too cold. America can never and will never be what once was in the Altaheim. And in that backdrop, against those voices, came the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe and Rebbe Tzrachot Chasivin and declared, we can establish Moistais Chinuch. We will and we can establish a Bais rivkah that will educate B'nois Chabad, that will prove to themselves and prove to the world that not only can we tolerate and withstand the challenges of America, but we will transform America. The Talmidos, the students that will be raised the Chinuch al Tairis HaKodesh in accordance with the Rabbeim's wishes, they will lead and they will show by example. And how about the children? What will be with the next generation? Everyone asked. Said the Rebbe, Heima Yavoyu Shama, the Heima Yeroshua. They, the Talmidos of Bais rivkah, joining us here today on both sides of this event. They continue to be an example, a living example of these words. Today we gather at this historic event to continue that message that America is nicht anders, to continue to show our community and the world, because from these Dalet Amis, from the groundbreaking today, will continue to emanate the warmth, the Torah, the Chassidus, the inspiration that lifts and inspires and warms the homes and hearts and minds of Klal Yisrael. As in the words of the Rebbe, Mazarei B'chaim Afu B'chaim is personified by those who merit to carry forth the message and the lessons of the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe. Your attention to the video screen.
30 years, Sundays, official holidays, all these things here was dedicated to the school. Why we do it? Because the Rebbe Shemesed, nothing else.
You didn't miss a Sunday. For 30 years, there's no cell phones. You have to meet in a house. There's no Zoom.
Yeah, they got my teeth are covered.
You look really good.
Thank you.
Handsome guy.
Thank God for that.
Ransomware is getting back to 10 million in Bitcoin. Get up the gates. Yes, I'm sitting here by the groundbreaking. Prime. What do you got? I don't believe you. Catch it up. I don't believe.
As they coordinate the logistical things in the video, many years ago, one of the Rabbanim, one of the Rosh Yeshiva of the non-Hasidic community, one of the Gdolei Yisrael, from the Litvischer community, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, spent the summer in the mountains, and together with him, there were a few Lubavitcher families. And while he was sitting one day in front of his bungalow, he sees a few young Bais rivkah girls playing. He was sitting with a sefer in front of his bungalow, and he calls over these young girls, and he asks them, "Where are you from? Where do you learn?" And the young Bais rivkah girls said, "We are Lubavitchers." So Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky looked at these young girls and said, "Mit was seid ihr Lubavitchers? With what are you Lubavitcher Chassidim? What exactly do you do to consider yourself to be Lubavitcher Chassidim?" So the young girls, one of the young girls of Bais rivkah turned to Rabbi Kamenetsky and he said, "Well, I go to 770 and I look down from the Weiber Shul and I see the Rebbe." So Rabbi Kamenetsky asked the young girl, "And why do you need a Rebbe? We have Torah, we have Hashem. Why do you need a Rebbe?" So the young girl turned to Kamenetsky and says, "What do you mean? Don't you know what happened to Klal Yisrael when they didn't have a Rebbe? They made the Egel Hazov." And at that moment, Rabbi Kamenetsky gave a big smile. And later that day, he met with Lubavitcher Chassidim, and he told them the story. And he said, "Please send a message to Rabbi Chadakov that whatever you're doing to educate your children in Bais rivkah is working well." This is what we're here today, to mark, to commemorate not only the past, not only the history that the Rabbeim, our Rabbeim, from the Baal Shem Tov, the Magid, the Alter Rebbe, and all the Rabbeim were Moser Nefesh, but our Talmidos, the young and old of Bais rivkah, they are the ones who carry forth the message to the world. The message that Chassidus today and Rebbe today is as critical as it ever was. And they are the ones from here, from Bais rivkah, Teitzei Torah, Teitzei Chassidus, from these Daladamis, Torah, warmth and inspiration continues to inspire, uplift the world. We want to acknowledge, on behalf of the Anhol of Bais rivkah, the presence of the Rebbe's secretary, Rabbi Krinsky, Zangezund. We also want to acknowledge, as we'll see soon in a video, with us is Rabbi Gavriel Rubashkin Zangezund, who for close to 30 years served on the board of directors of Bais rivkah b'Mesiras Nefesh, along with Yibod L'Chaim Tovim, two other members who for many years, together with Rabbi Gavriel, Yibod L'Chaim, my wife Zayder, Rabbi Mordechai HaKohen Rifkin, and Rabbi Shimon Goldman, who dedicated themselves b'leiv v'nefesh, literally, b'gufam, b'nafsham, u'b'nishmasam, u'b'b'moinam, to keep the doors of Bais rivkah open, to guarantee and to assure the continuity of the Rebbe's Bais rivkah. And today is yet one other example of that continuity. Yasher koyach Rab Gavriel, so lange gesunde freiliche Jahre. Your attention to the video screen.
30 years, Sundays, official holidays, all these things here was dedicated to the school. Why we do it? Because that was the message, nothing else.
It's a Sunday. For 30 years, there's no cell phones. They have to meet in a house. There's no Zoom. One-on-one, hours and hours, every Sunday or any public holiday. They met.
The Rebbe was running the school from A to Z. Everything was going through Chodakov, with notifications to the Rebbe. The Rebbe did not interfere, but he knew exactly what goes on. To the point of, Rav Chodakov had a cubicle, a table, with 3 chairs. We would walk here into the place, we sit down, everything quiet. The telephone has buttons on it, and right away push a button. And we knew that the Rebbe was there. So, that this was, he never said that. But
was the only meister in the world that ever writes about it, that he's the Nasi. He's the Nasi of the school. This figure started, it was personally...
To work for the Rebbe was not a simple thing. It was very demanding. It was coming out sometimes at a very different situation. It was not an easy thing, but it was ad hayom. The only good thing that you do in your life is to work for the Rebbe.
Baruch Hashem, from when it started, it was unheard of. Girls getting educated, you know. And today it's the biggest Jewish Orthodox school.
Sari Bachai, Mafru Bachai, Abishas Mizeh, as Midar bringen a Reihe wiese Fisterhof Sari, wiese Philosophof, seine Talmidi. Die was on Seche gewinnt, haben a Spur von ihm direkt, oder durch seine Wort, oder durch seine Maimorim, und unter dem und am Mizeh, Sari Bachai, die Talmidim seiner Sport wirkt und sie ist lebendig, wie sie nach Leben, als sie in der Chai. Sie macht lebendig herum sich, oder dämmelt ist auf Ruba Chai. Die Morde darf nicht bringen, Kirei, als die Vasganke, die Gedanke Chai im Belam Habo, das Recht sich, wenn Chai im Belam Hase, oder dämmelt ist auf Ruba Chai. Demut ist allein Echid Bachayim Be'imam Hazeh Va'adrab. Sie beyesser Seis und beyesser Eis, als seht, was dient, von seinen Gewinn Sari Bachayim Chayose Galmatei. Seine Volks, seine Mamschlich und dazu vor, die Stadtmus auf versprechenden Jahadus Jüdischkeit Eru Mitzvah. Und auf Tondos mit der Leben bedachte Lea und bedachte Kore, aber mit dem Denke von Amiti mit der Ämese Starkheit. Und mit der Leben auf nicht mitwerden, Tondos einmal und der zweiten Mal, wie vor sie dem Uvigerät kam auf die Jonim, als Dämmels ist allein dort zusammen mit ihm, was bleiben sich zusammen. Und es mäßig kehrt durch den Teil, was mir verschaut, der nicht kommt. Es Benstell und Bewele echt mäßig kehrt und es Begashmis und Beruchnis, was soll das sein, als Scheiches zu sehen, ich glaub. Wo die Frat mäßig kehrt in der Wende, in der Stift, a Versprechen, Jüdischkeit und Teru sedig bejescht. Jeder bekommt auch in Schiode Magas und in Gerät friert. Wenn wir gehen zu denen, alle Damen bei sich in Huis, wenn wir gehen zu der ganzen Stadt, in welcher lebt, wenn wir gehen zu der ganzen Medina, unter der Mutter doch eine sichere Sache, als sie sein, in der Rambam schreibt und so viel Hilches machen, wenn wir gehen zu Mesa Machia. Als wird mit sein im Kino, mit Tachlus und im Chomo, nur mit sich Essig sein im Chochmo Bichlal, und der Chochmo ist dem Juchot, und der Woschen Ayudur von Jafutzo meine Secho Chutzo, und unter Dämmelt in der letzte Tag von Golus, wird jeder und alle zusammen zugeben in der Lichtigkeit, in lichtiger Machen der Welt. Durch Lernen Mitzvah und Teira dies mit Seche sei zu dem Kiem Hayud, und Gehoya Abayel Chol Elamach, die Göttlichkeit der Ewigkeit beim Leichten, die ganze Welt und mit Seche sein zu Bias mit Schiach Zitkenu, Bekore Mamash.
It was on the Sunday, which was 30 days since the Stalkers of the Rebbe. Where the Rebbe received many people who came to receive the dollar from the Rebbe as they used to. and of course express the participation in the morning of the day. And from there, we moved over to the place which was set aside to begin the building of a place, a large place for Bais in honor of the Rebbetzin, with the name of Campus Chumash. When all of a sudden, someone comes over, running over to me, and they said, the Rebbe's coming. Obviously, you can imagine unexpectedly, I was all shocked. So I immediately announced, and I ran out to the spot on the street where he would arrive. Yeah, the car arrived, but the Rebbe remained sitting in the car and called me over.
Came over at the old song, and yes, come over to give a message. It says, tonight is the birthday of the Rebbetzin.
He took out money, $470 in the amount. 407 is the miracle amount of the Rebbetzins name.
He says, I'm now on my way to the Bais. I will also stop at the resting place of the Rebbetzin.
The Rebbe said that it is on her behalf and on his behalf. I immediately went over back to the gathering and I notified him, shared with them what happened.
Toward the building and perpetuation of the school year today. Thank you.
Actually introducing us into living the way the world will live by Tchias HaMesim. When we do a siyum, we say, Honor Rotzim, Behem Rotzim, we thank the Eibishter for giving us our lot in learning Torah, because everybody's busy running around and doing things. But the Eibishter put us in a place where others run and don't have any satisfaction. Honor Rotzim and Mekablim Schar. We run and we have reward. Now what's the difference between our running and someone else running? So I remember once hearing the difference from my father, that when somebody has material ambition, he runs, but he runs away. He runs away from one disillusion to another disillusion. When somebody has material ambition, when he thinks that when he will have something, he will be satisfied, when he gets there, he gets what he wants and realizes it doesn't satisfy him, so he tries to get something else or more, because what he has is not good. Mashenkin in Ruchnius, when you do a mitzvah, you learn Torah, what you accomplish is so good that you want more of it. So it's an ambition that you keep running to accumulate more and more and more, and not that you run away from one disillusion to another disillusion. Whereas the Rebbe always taught us to always be happy, but never satisfied. Always happy with our accomplishments, but never satisfied, but to do more and more and more. So with this we conclude the siyum, and I would like to say a few words introducing my father. For many people, Bais rivkah is a concept. For many people, 80 years is a number, right? But for me, Bais rivkah is not a concept and is not a number. It has been part of my life since I was a child. Since my grandmother, or Lazarov, whoever remembers her, many of you were taught by her. And then when Rabbi Chadakov gave the responsibility, or transferred, or notified my father of the responsibility that he was given, from then our life became part and parcel of Bais rivkah. We lived Bais rivkah, we slept Bais rivkah, we dreamt Bais rivkah, we didn't sleep Bais rivkah. Bais rivkah was center of our life since then, day and night. And over 30 years, 30 is a number, but every day has hours and minutes full of blood, sweat, and tears to make sure that Bais rivkah could go on. So really, there's not much more I can add to that. Just to appreciate everything that my father has done. Has been often a very lonely journey, where he would have to beg people to help him build the graduates if they're doing him a favor. But that is par for the course, as we say. That's part of the job description. Not to have the appreciation that only the Eibishter and the Rebbe can give, which is enough to motivate. So I would like to, and now, today, what we see is one of the great fruits of all of that lonely labor, having the support of a group of young alike that have joined forces to help carry the burden and help add what youth can add and what numbers can add. And the proof is in the pudding, the support that we have in the community, the wider support that we have in the community. But today, people realize that when they help these rivkah, they're not doing anybody a favor but themselves. So Yashikayach Tati for all these years, Yashikayach board members for joining the effort. And I just wanted to conclude with a story that I heard many years. There was once a chicken and a cow and an ox walking in the street. They pass by a restaurant and they see the menu. There's all types of meat, all types of eggs. The chicken tells the cow, the ox, "Aren't you proud of yourself? Look what we did for mankind. They have eggs, they have meat, everything. They enjoy life because of us." And the ox turns around to the chicken and says, "For you it's easy to say, because for you it's only a contribution. For me, it means a total commitment." So thank you, Tati, for the total commitment, and may we all get contagious. No one has masks here today, so we'll get contagious from your Mesiras Nefesh and inspired by your Mesiras Nefesh, and I'm sure you'll be happy if more people emulate you. Thank you very much, and Mazel Tov.
Pino, at dem Bais in Binyan, mir zu Hashem, der Eibishter soll helfen. Vorsetzung, ruft das, ich will nehmen eine Minute und teilen Sach mit euch, gesetzt zwischen dem Choshev und Elam, ein Teiler Chaber, aber Roin Rebitzok, Reikot, das Bett, der Rover, aber als der Bett zu bechulig. Wir sagen, Baruch Hu alle Kinder, Shebronu, Lechvedi, Bivdelonu Minateyim. Nun, das ist Wind zu verstehen. Genossen Alonu Tera Semes hat uns gegeben, Tera von Emes, Chaye Elom, not a Besechenu, was ist das? Wir haben ein Chaye Elom. Das ist nicht stehen. Chaye Elom. Das ist nicht kein Kamus, wie viel Jahr. No, not a Besechenu. Das ist ein Chilk von uns. Es dreht sich herum eine Welt mit Menschen. Und lahavdu Iden, lahavdu in die übrige Umes. Mit was tilt sich Huis, oder der Messe für der Rebbe aufgestellt mit 80 Jahren zurück. Chaye Elom not a Besechenu. Chai, miskert Chavo Chai. Der Rebbe hat doch übergegeben sich und unvertraut uns. Ein anderer Chaim. Nicht ein Chaim, was hebt sich auf, wenn wir geboren, und nicht ein Chaim, das kommt der, wo ich es jammen. Chaye Elom. Ewigkeit. Not a Besechenu. Zeitfallig. Aber das ist schon, wo die Lohn in der Themen, die Blongerei ist, was es fällt sich der Chaye Elom, Besechenu. Der sagt am Tag eine Minute und sagt sehr ein gewagtes Wort. The world was introduced to the Rebbe with the title Nossi 80 years ago. A note scribbled by the late Rav Chodakov, who at that time was a secretary by the Frierdiker Rebbe. So he writes down a yechidus that he had 80 years ago by the Frierdiker Rebbe. And in that yechidus, the Rebbe says, the Frierdiker Rebbe says to Rav Chodakov that he wants him to begin a place of learning for girls. And he tells him that he wants the Rebbe, who just came over at that time, Tofshi Yudale, or Tofshi Yudbez, it was Mitzvah Yonte. He wants the Rebbe to be the Nossi, black or white. Of course, the Frierdiker Rebbe was the Nossi then, but the Rebbe writes down how Rav Chodakov says what the Frierdiker Rebbe told him then. He wants him to be the Nossi of this institution. And Rav Chodakov should be the Menayel. Kann man sich vorstellen, was das meint? 10 Jahre Vater ist Altes, 10 Jahre Vater offiziell ist Dios. Nossi. Und that in this Dios geht on, it carries on. It does not deal with the Zeitwa, the temporary existences of Gashmis. Bechaye Elom. The eternal life is not a bisechenu. That has been planted in us, not subjected to the limitations of the material time and place. V'chaye eilom, not a bisechenu. That's why we are not toyim. We plunge in it. We are told clear by the Rebbe what it's all about. And it began at that moment between the Frierdiker Rebbe and Rav Chodakov. You are in that Moshe that had that schus. And those of you teachers and menahelim and leaders, I don't think about any chronisch eingehen in den Cheshbenes. All of you, and all of those whom you represent, this is a moment when we are coming here to announce another step in the continuation of Bais, which is credited, charged with, but credited. Not the Davish to help that every one of us here and all those that will be reached in every other way, so to wissen, dem Rebbe's Messias is verbunden mit rivkah. And the Norman rivkah was told to Rabbi Chodakov at that time by the Frierdiker Rebbe, the name should be rivkah. The Davish to help as we're standing the all the dames that are owned by the rivkah and thereby belong to the Rebbe, always did. And we turn him to Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, Ad Mosad, that he should come, the Geula Shlema, as far as we are all concerned is, the Geula Shlema will bring in the Rebbe zurück, und das wird herunterbringen in der Welt, a recognition, a hakore, of dem ebersten Beirei Eilom Manhige. A größen Dank, sie hat auch gesund, Chizkove inzu, die was vielen Norden sich untergenommen, dem Damen Stebdom, was Socharabe, alle zusammen. A guten Tag.
My parents told me that I had to go to work. They couldn't pay for they paid for seminary, but they couldn't pay for my apartment. That's the life of a shlichus, at least then. And my parents couldn't afford it, so I had to get a job. The second year of seminary, I worked till I was till 12 o'clock, and then I would go on the train for 2 hours to Bensonhurst, and I taught in a boys' school. I had subbed a couple of times in Bais Rivkah, and Rabbi Newman, who was the principal, asked me to take a job in Bais Rivkah the following year. At the same time, the rabbi of the yeshiva that I taught in Bensonhurst, Yeshiva Chazdei Torah, he offered me to come back and teach the boys again. I Baruch Hashem had a great rapport with that class, and they weren't easy with their Rebbe in the morning, and it worked pretty well with me, so he wanted me to come back, and he actually offered me a $5 raise. And I said yes. And when Rabbi Newman asked me if I would take the job in Bais Rivkah teaching 5th grade, I said to him, I don't think so. I said, you know how much Bais Rivkah is paying me and how much the school is paying me, I think I'm going to take that job. And then that night my father called me and he says to me, I need to have a little discussion with you. I hear a little bit of Lashon Hara about you. I said, Lashon Hara? He says, I heard you took a job in Yeshiva Chazdei Torah instead of Bais Rivkah because the money was better there. And I said to him, Todd, it's not Lashon Hara, it's the fact. That's what I did do. And he said to me, are you kidding me? He said, Leah, that's what I taught you? That money is what makes the world go round? The schus to teach in the Rebbe's Meissen, to be a shlucha for the Rebbe? You can't buy that. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that you told Rabbi Newman no because money is more important. Well, you can imagine, I called Rabbi Newman, accepted the 5th grade job, and the rest is history. I've been there ever since. And I thank my father, I thank Rabbi Newman, and I thank the Rebbe for giving me the schus to be able to be in his mind, to work for him, to be able to have the brachas that the Rebbe gives to anybody. The Rebbe promises brachas to those who are shluchim, and we are definitely the shluchais at the front line, because we provide the shluchim for the entire world. The girls that come out of Bais Rivkah change the world. I thank the Rebbe for that source.
Indeed, we all express our hakaras hatoiv, our gratitude for this incredible schus, and especially for those who merited, as Mrs. Jacobson, the principal in her division. But today, we are here for Bais Rivkah Seminary in particular. And Bais Rivkah Seminary, as you know, and it is led by, for many, many years, with incredible dedication, Mora Gorowitz, who happens to be my shviger. And this is an opportunity to express our bracha to her and to the other members of the Anhala, Mrs. Gorowitz, Mrs. Wolf, and the entire staff. May they be zoicha to the fulfillment, the realization of the Rebbe brachas, b'chol ma'aseh yideihem, and their dedication, as we know, the Rebbe bleibt nicht kein Bal Choiv. Und zolta b'bonech hayo mezoyner rivkah, amen v'amen. When I asked Mora Gorowitz what words she would like to share, she shared the following words, which I share on her behalf. She said, number one, on a day like today, of course, the primary message is Ritzoineinu lirois es malkeinu. And that is the foundation of the chinuch that Bais Rivkah provides its students. Number two, of course, Ashreinu matov chalkeinu, for the incredible schus we all have to be connected to the Rebbe, to the Rebbe's moizdes, ma'noim goroletno ma'yafa yerushaseinu. And we should practice that which the Mishnah teaches us, and moir ma'at v'asei harbe. And she concluded with the words of her late mother, Aleh Shalom, Mrs. Rivkin, which she always signed her letters, be kind and be good, which is also a pillar in the chinuch of Bais Rivkah. Mora Gorowitz, may you and the staff of the seminary, may this historic moment give an incredible expansion. Bais Rivkah Seminary is not just, as you know, for our community, but for the entire community of Anash, Chassidim, and Shluchim around the world, for the entire Klal Yisrael. And at this point, I call upon a shliach whose wife was a student here in Bais Rivkah and whose daughters studied here in Bais Rivkah to share words of greeting. My Chaver, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Cantor, shliach of the Rebbe to Bangkok, Thailand.
I really wanted the kids to hear this, that Hakaras HaTov is an unbelievable thing, gratitude. And these girls that are sitting here, and it's not so hot, it's not so cold today. These kids are sitting here, they're paying it forward because it's going to be their seminary. When they'll be in seminary, will be long built, and they'll have all the Tevis Anah. But gratitude is an amazing thing. But I'm thinking to myself, Thailand is a long place to come from. It's 24 hours of travel to say thank you. However, if I look at it in a different perspective, it's not just that my wife was a Talmidah here, my children, but that truly, I think I'm going to say a collective gratitude for thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of thousands that want to say this thank you. In the early 1990s, the Jewish community of Thailand had a crisis. They had turned to various organizations to send them rabbinic leadership. They got one rabbi who lasted a little bit more than a few months. He was a single. He was an elder bacher, Svardish bacher, an elder bacher, well qualified, a sheikhet, but came without a wife. It didn't last very long. A little while later, another attempt, another yeshiva, another organization in Israel sent them a rabbinic candidate. He had already been married. He had some more life experience, but he was unfortunately divorced and also didn't last very long. The community understood that they had to turn to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. They need Lubavitch to send somebody, because as we all know, many great leaders have tried to inspire and successfully inspired the Talmidei HaYeshiva, the Yeshiva Bachrim, to be imbued with the spirit that they want to go out and help even remote Jewish communities. But most of the time it falls apart because which rabbi's wife, which rebbitzin, which girl who's coming from Eretz Yisrael, from America, who's coming from a place, a background of Jewish life and Jewish amenities, is ready to go out to the desert, to the other side of the world. And we all know, as we stand there on Gimel Tammuz, that the Rebbe dedicated and educated the Bnei Yisrael, that they are shluchos in every sense of the world, and when they go out together with their husbands, the shluchim, they create a place of Torah and of Shechina and of Yiddishkeit. And on behalf of all of the millions of children that were taught and helped and brought to Yiddishkeit, to all the shluchim and shluchis around the world, we have to say a hakaras hateva, thank you to the Moshe of Bais Rivkah that educated and educates the shluchos all over the world. To those that are sitting here still and who worked very hard to put up this Mesa, in the mid-1950s, my Elter Zayda, Moshe Zalman Feiglin, came from Australia to Rivkah, a Mesa for girls in Australia. And at the time he told the Rebbe, we're barely surviving with the yeshiva Solei Yosef Yitzchak Yubavitch that we opened. We can barely afford to pay the teachers. It's barely going. And he was at the time the president of the Moistus. And the Rebbe told him, if it would be easy, I wouldn't need you and I wouldn't ask you. Because it's so difficult, that's why I'm asking you when you go back to Australia now. In the thing, you should make sure to open a Moised of Bais Rivkah, Moised for girls. All of these wonderful supporters and temchim and activists, when you start to pick a building, this is the beginning of a hard work. That's why you're here. That's why you took it under. That's why God is giving you the shlichus and empowering you to do the hard work needed. That this should be a building, l'shem, or l'sehila, or l'sefaris. Mazel tov.
Moshe.
Thank you, Rabbi Cantor. At this moment, we would like to call upon an individual who personifies and embodies much of the Limud HaTorah and the Chinuch that has and will continue to take place from these Daled Amos. One who needs little introduction to our community, a giant in Harbatzas HaTorah, one who has single-handedly authored 18 Sfarim just on the Rambam, as we all know, Bidvar Melech, the first volume of which carries a letter, a haskama from the Rebbe himself, and in total he was zoicha to publish 36 Sfarim and many more, Lo'erich Yomim V'Shanim Toivis, one who not only learns is a symbol, a dugmachaya of incredible limud v'harbatzas haTorah, but a source of incredible help and support for the Moistes Chinuch in Lubavitch, and in particular to Bais Rivkah. I call upon Rav Agoin, Rav Yitzchak Reitport, to share Divrei Bracha.
Dank de Meus. Ik heb gedacht omdat je gemaakt hebt met een beschriftje het hoofdstand van de Ingeren. En Bora Hashem het ook gesteld. Ze kunnen zeer geestig arbeid met de ganzen kregen de geld, ze geestig zouden. Maar Bora Hashem het zijn gelegd om ons een prachtige beelding aan koppelen kwijt aan delen. Wat ze schellen. Maar het is geen boeien nog van de ouderen. De Rebbe so gegeben de Teire, hat gedacht, früher reden zu der Frühe. Und hat die Frühe nicht gewöhnt ready, hat man auch gestoppt noch ein Tag von Teire. 3 Tage hat man auch gestoppt von Teire. Das ist das eine Gewaltigkeit, ein Support, eine Starkheit. Die Frühe ist mit keinem Teire. Da haben wir geen Boeien voor de Eltern, dus een Christen komt voor de Babich und er kommt von Kollateral und das ist ein Kommen von Kiomaterial. Also ein großes Frühen und mehr haben wir auch zu lernen, das bringen ein Kiomaterial. Ich dachte, Scherion wirklich nicht mal sagen, sie sind noch nicht umgebucht, aber sie haben Schule. Und wir hoffen, an die alle, was uns zugesagt haben, wir keinem sagen, was sie uns gesagt haben. Man weiß, zusagen, man liebt auf unserer Welt ist ein geringer Job. Ich sage so, nicht kennen. Aber es ist nicht, dass da ist das ein Bienen, da man muss es. Wir kennen man kein Sod, aber wir kennen wollen, die Drehwischen und Halfen. An die alle, was ihm zugesagt haben, mit keinem sein. Und wir sollen alle haben eine Sache als Locher. Und also Hashem mit dem Bienen haben wir so geguckt, als eine riesige Bildung, als eine riesige Vernehm. Eigentlich das Werk gewesen, aber es mir doch nicht, was er wird. Was ein Kind von 2000 Kinder, zwei, die wollen Kinder, jüdische Kinder noch lernen. Das ist die Kinder, die misswillen. Das ist ein Covid von Reben, das ist ein Covid von ganz Tieren. Und der Rebbe soll helfen, alle sollen massiert sein. Und alle sollen sein gesund. Und genug die alle Sachen mehr. Alle sollen sein gesund und die alle Kranken sollen werden gesund.
Amen.
Und Mazel Tov, und was sagt er noch von dem?
Amen.
Happy birthday, Yosef. And happy 40th, Yosef.
I think it's important to reiterate that Bais Rivkah Seminary is part of rivkah. It may be a different building or a different floor or a different curriculum with a different attitude for adults, learning by adults. but it is part of what the Rebbe wanted to see for his women. When we celebrate Bais Rivkah Seminary, we're really celebrating every department. It's connected. All I know is that the Rebbe wanted to know about each student, not only in seminary, what they were doing in the summer, what they were doing for the next year, great interest, because we became like the hands and the feet of whatever the Rebbe wanted should be done. We were very felt that we were Anshe Moshe, we were going to do whatever the Rebbe promised.
I came from a very small school, and I didn't get what the girls here in Bais Rivkah had all the years through 12th grade. I didn't get that learning my mother and learning Chassidus. I didn't get that. So to me, it was a new world.
I remember the lessons that we learned, the lessons we were given and how to help us be teachers, all the inspiration and all the Chassidishkeit that was, given to us in a very happy and positive environment.
And when you do it because you want to do it, because it's your own desire, because you have something you want to fulfill in life, it's an entirely different learning. And I think that is really what we gained in seminary. We were seated in that seat because we wanted to be there. And I think that was the focus and the way we learned the entire year.
I feel very fortunate to have graduated from Bais Rivkah Seminary. It's everything that everyone talks about and so much more. I specifically benefited a lot from the teacher training program. This year I'm teaching 8th grade at Bais Rivkah Elementary, and I often find myself referring back to all the things that I learned as part of that program. To be able to go back into Bais Rivkah Elementary, the school that I went to, and just be able to observe, watch all the lessons, see what really goes into making this school as incredible as it is.
Every single day you walk out of school and you just sat through 4 hours of the top rabbis and the top teachers in our community, and it's like so powerful. You really feel, I felt this year, like every single day I was given an opportunity that I'm never going to have again, of sitting in a classroom with teachers that are so professional and so amazing.
My teachers in the teacher training program believed in me. They empowered me and they encouraged me to pursue a career in chinuch. I actually was thinking not to be a teacher, but at the end of the year, my teacher approached me and said, "This is your passion, this is your field, this is where you should continue your career." I'm so lucky that I took my teacher's advice, because each day I appreciate my job even more.
I feel that Bais Rivkah Seminary really gives you a really Chassidish foundation for your future. It covers, all areas of what you're going to encounter out in the world, and it gives you the tools to, really go out there well prepared.
If you have the opportunity to put on your resume that you did teacher training in a school as large as Bais Rivkah, and you were able to teach a class of 27 children, to me as a principal, if I saw that on your resume, I'd want to meet you. If teaching was what you wanted to do, and that was on your resume, I'd want to meet you.
How important it is to really have space for the girls now. And have not just a space, but a space that is beautiful. That that people will be excited to come. You have all the girls come together. Today, you have basements and apartments being rented. But we know that when the girls are together, sitting together, sleeping together in the same dorm, it will just add tremendous to the atmosphere.
To build an entire school. And by us lifting up the school, we're not just lifting up the school, the whole Khan's lifted, the whole Lubavitch is lifted up, the whole world's lifted up, because these are the future leaders. These are the shluchos, these are the leaders of the Jewish people.
I think it's important to
Moirasha Kehilas Yaakov is what we're here to commemorate, and one who truly personifies carrying on the tradition of his family one whose Zayda's name is well known to every chassid the world over, one of the key founders who is completely dedicated, completely masur v'nosen b'leiv v'nefesh, who is instrumental in so much of what Chabad has become today, including the purchase and building of 770, the Rebbe's Oil, the publication of numerous Sifrei Chassidus, and of course the member of Agudas Chassidei Chabad, one of the Gdoilei Chassidim of the last generation, Harav HaChassid Rav Shlomo Aaron Kazanovsky, whose name should be mentioned here because his Einukol, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Kazanovsky, carries on that Mesoiro, that Moirosha Kehilas Yaakov, carrying on the Mesiro and Nesina B'leiv Nefesh. And in addition to his incredible Hismasros in every area of Chinuch, not only in our community but in many others, a person Toiro Gdula B'Mokem Echad, a Baal Chesed, of monumental, please join a moment. Rabbi Yossi Kazanovsky.
With that kind of introduction, it's hard to proceed, but I will proceed with the knowledge.
All board members, starting with the chairman of the board, Rabbi Shem Tov, Marich B'Shalom Tovizayin, with all the brachas and Yeshua's B'cholam Mitzdarech, along together with the board members, Rabbi Ephraim Goldfein, Rabbi Mendy Gansberg, Rabbi Yitzchak Orenland, Rabbi David Yunik, Rabbi David Sputz, Rabbi Yigal Niyazov, and Rabbi Shalom Duchman, may they continue to see Yatzlocha, Rabo, Muflaga, B'chol, Maisa, Yideyam, and of course Rabbi Yosef Kazanovsky, who we just heard from, and Rabbi, Achman Chaviv, Rabbi Achmiel Jacobson, with whom I was in yeshiva for many years, all together. May you continue, we say one word, and please answer Amen on this special moment, on this Yom HaGadol VaHaKadosh. Der Rebbe bleibt nicht kein Balchoiv. Und der Rebbe soll euch abzahlen, die Bone, Chai, und Mesoine, Rivkah, Bekulam Rivkah, und Betay, Vanire, Vanigla. At this moment, we come to the conclusion with the highlight of today's Hanochas Even HaPinah, the groundbreaking event. And we just heard from Rabbi Kazanovsky that you can't argue with success. While I don't know who Bezos and Gates are, I do know someone who's an unquestionable persona of success. And I speak of an individual, a man that personifies Hatzlocha, that motivates others with his incredible positive attitude and energy. He was once upon a time a camper, but a person who has grown to become an incredible oisik b'tzorchat tzibur be'amuna u'besimcha, Rabbi Moshe Pinson, who will now coordinate the conclusion of today's groundbreaking event. I want to mention that we have the schus to have with us today the shovel that the Rebbe, the Yodai HaGdosha, used by the groundbreaking by 770 in Tafshin, Melches, by the groundbreaking in front of 770. And we want to acknowledge and thank the Gabe of 770, Rabbi Zev Yecheskel HaKoyim Ben Risha Katz, Shemai Hamarichis Yom Geshalom Toivis, mit der Gebarius Gufa, und der Heure Malje Gesundheit und Freilichkeit. Thank you for sharing with us for this special moment, the shovel that the Rebbe used. And may the brachas of the Rebbe continue as we're about now to mark, to begin the actual groundbreaking ceremony. Your attention, please, to Rabbi Moshe Pinson.
Okay, thank you very much, Rabbi Mintz. We're at the conclusion of this beautiful event here today. And I just heard a nice story. A Kramer from Montreal came to the Rebbe, beautiful plans for a beautiful building. Showed the Rebbe the building. And the Rebbe said, this is a beautiful building. He said, you have money to build a building? He said, no. So the Rebbe says, so why you make it a small one? So, when we started this project, I remember the board was meeting and they said, Taking Geld. I said, Today happens to be a very special day. It's Gimel Tammuz, that happens to 40 years here in Rambam. And I think there's a letter from the Rebbe. The man told the Rebbe he's having problems with Parnassa, and he's one behind. The Rebbe said if you catch up with Rambam, you'll make it. So Rambam is connected with money. You make a big pledge, and even though you might not have it today, they will still pay you back, that's for sure, especially a day like today. The big question is, everybody wants to know how big is this project, how are we going to get it going? It's estimated $25 million. So I'm here today to let everybody know, Baruch Hashem, over $10 million of commitments from, you have the Polback family, Isaac and his wife Miriam, and their family dedicated a big amount. The Garwitz family, and Jason Kazanowski, Mitzvah Hashem, and the Jacobson family, and the Rayport family. And together, it's over $10 million of commitment to this new project. So we're only $15 million away. It's not far. It's very, very close. It's one charity campaign and we're done. So Mendy Gandvik says that the architect told him from when we go into the ground, 14 months. Now it's a matter of getting the permits, raising money, and the Mitzvah Hashem in 2 years we're in our new building, for the first building, for the many new buildings that we're going to build for Bais. At this time, I would like to call up Rabbi Shem Tov, Rabbi Rabashkin, Rabbi Kazanowski, Rabbi Levergreen, Shmuel, David, everybody on the board, to please come up, take a shovel, start the groundbreaking, and from there, Mitzvah Hashem, beautiful brachas for everybody in the family. Rabbi Shem Tov, could you do with the Rebbe shovel first? We'll take the Rebbe shovel. Please come up. Zalman, Krishevsky, please come up. David, Chaim Fogelman. This is the Rabbi Chaim Fogelman, Ebby, Chaim Pekarski, please come forward. My father, Abba, come up.
Thank you very much. And at this moment, may we all give and receive the bracha that from this incredible Maimed, Zeh Hayoim, today's day is not the happiest day yet. But because of an event like today, Zeh Hayoim, eventually Nagila v'nismechaboy, with Boidei Oilam B'kinyan, Hashlem Zeh HaBinyan, as we mark the last Gimel Tammuz in Golus, and the first Gimel Tammuz, the Geula, with the Rebbe B'Roshenu.